He didn't say anything to us, but we found out that Vigo had actually broken 2 toes with that last kick. And normally an actor would say, cut, I've hurt myself. God, stop, quickly, get the medic. I mean, Vigo actually, feeling that pain, he actually turned that into performance. I mean, he stayed in the character of Aragorn. He was letting that pain feed and drive.
What? How impressive are you,
amazing.
Sir?
And of course,
broke his
it was
toes.
the best take, so it's actually
What?
in the movie. The moment that Vigo breaks his toes is there on screen.
What in the world?
You know, in all seriousness, everyone got hurt on this movie.
Outrageous.
Scarred, everyone went through, you know, a little bit
toes.
of physical kind of pain.
What?
But if you're talking
It
about
just kept going.
something life-changing, something huge, you know, something that really had a deep effect on all of us and most of the Western Hemisphere, Orlando breaking his rib was huge.
He broke his rib?
And the scale double of Gimli fell on top of Orlando and broke his rib.
Oh!
I'd scored an injury. Do you know what I mean? I was the first one to score an injury. And I think there was a little bit of jealousy that...
I like the way he said it. I scored an injury.
Didn't get the opportunity to fall off a horse and break a rib. It's a painful thing. And it's nothing to be sniggered at. And when he told us, we were, God, are you all right and stuff? It was painful. It was very painful. And then when he told us the next day, oh, that's terrible. Is it not getting any better? Obviously, it was just a rib, and I went and had it checked out, and I was on set again the next day, so it was fine.
What do you mean, just a rib? Is this
later.
really...
Cracked rib? Oh, is it still cracked, is it? Right, okay.
My lungs are hurting.
That's our stance on cracking a rib? Is that it's okay? I didn't know that.
It's been ostracized.
Whinging. Oh, really?
And babes, it hurts, and I can't ride the horse, and now, babes.
And since then, I've heard it in a few interviews.
Are you
as
kidding?
well, and,
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's still healing.
They can be fragile.
I thought you needed time to heal from a cracked rib
That's so funny.
or broken rib. I guess
No,
not.
but
Huh?
seriously, I mean, it was about sucking it up and standing by your fellow man.
Doesn't it hurt when you move around?
Wizard, and giving it your best shot.
Especially
and
what he has to
certainly
do?
did. You certainly did.
That's interesting.
So now we've reached the point in the schedule of The Two Towers where we were going to film my favourite scenes from the book, Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli.
They seem pretty dismissive of a broken rib, right? Or is that just me?
Aragorn in the book says to Legolas and Gimli, "We shall make a chase that will be counted a marvel among the 3 kindreds."
Look at these
For those
locations.
men. Nobody will have run this long, this hard, over this kind of terrain. That's what we're going to have to do to catch these guys.
It's not like a car
Okay.
chase where there's cars squealing around corners and doing all that.
Right.
It's just guys running. And I
Yeah.
was really looking forward to doing this stuff. But on the day that we arrived in Poolburn to start shooting my favourite sequence of the film, my 3 runners were the walking wounded. I had Orlando Bloom with a cracked rib. I had Viggo Mortensen, who had just broken 2 of his toes. And Brett Beatty, who was our scale Gimli, who had to do all the running, had dislocated his knee.
Oh
and
my God.
we didn't have doubles for them because, I had to do shots where they were running up past the camera. I mean, there's like Orlando runs past and there's a line, and it's got to be Viggo.
Are
It's
you
got to be
kidding?
the guys actually running.
We got the rib, the toes, and the knee.
Viggo, Orlando, and Brett were just real troopers, and they just said, listen, let's just shoot the running.
We were beat and sore.
Not only from just the injuries and
What
stuff.
are the odds that it would happen that same day?
I'd have the camera
All
lined
these
up,
injuries.
the boys would be there, and we'd just say action, and they just ran. And I let them run, and I'd be totally worried about the pain they were in. And as soon as I yelled cut, they went, "Oh God, oh Christ!" And they'd all be groaning and moaning, and they'd be limping back, and they'd look at me as if, "No, do you want us to do that again?" And I'd say, "No, I think that was fine. Okay, let's move on to the next one." And we kind of went through the 2 days it was.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to say. This is crazy to think of this when I'm rewatching it,
So when it came time to do
that they were like broken down. Their bodies were just literally broken.
Barry did lots of stuff. They would come down, leave us there, and fly away. And leave a radio with us, and I'd stick it in the bushes or whatever, and we'd be there, and then they'd say, "Okay, run, don't fall down."
We were kind of running across this terrain,
don't fall down.
standing and pointing, and had a bag of chocolates. I remember we had like a bag of sweets, and we just kept eating sweets for the sugar rush.
And we just start running down this hill, or up this hill, or on the edge of this cliff or something. And then you'd hear action, and you'd hear this sound.
They were directing through a walkie-talkie.
come over the hill and he'd be right on us, but you're running and you feel it, and they'd come and fly
Oh,
around.
I love this so much.
Do a couple
Yeah.
of them, and then they might land and say, we've got that, let's go fly somewhere else.
It was a diversion for me. Sometimes you wonder whether you're spending your energy in the right place. But a lot of these shots are on screen, and they're great.
Yeah.
They wanted to catch the sunrise, basically. They wanted to that sort of blood red, amazing sunrise.
The suggestion was to stay out there that night in the middle of nowhere and camp out and be able to just get up, put our clothes on, and get the shot when the sun came up.
And I said, Vigo, that'd be great. I'll camp out with you, and I'm glad you want to camp out, but I had to talk the makeup people into camping out and the other 2 actors into camping out. And Vigo said, was it all right if I talked them into it? And I said, sure, if you want to.
Wow.
And he did.
We'll camp out, we'll fish, we'll grill some steaks, and Vigo, through sheer force of personality, made that sound like a really appealing idea. But then what happened is, like, it became like a whole thing.
Miranda Otto and Bernard Hill and other cast members who heard about it said, hey, this sounds like fun. We're going to stay out here, too.
They kind of put
really?
the trailers around in like a sort of, that sort of Western style, all facing in.
We went fishing and swimming and stuff like that. Guess who gets the trout? Me. No. Aragon. 3.
And then watch the sun go down, and then Vigo built an amazing campfire. And
we let Vigo do everything, really, because he was, he would have done it anyway. So we just let him use his energy, and we took it easy.
Yeah.
There were sort of bottles of wine, and people, we were just sitting around the campfire and chatting and laughing and joking.
So we had quite a little party that night, and we were up and filming by 6:30 in the morning, thanks to Vigo.
I mean, it was a really
I love that.
Because nobody had slept hardly at all. That backfired, but we did get the shot, which in the end is the main thing.
Mm-hmm. What an experience. Wow. Everybody's camping out together.
Most of what you're seeing with the Black Gates is a miniature. There's no real location as such. The central piece of drama outside the Black Gates, which happens on top of the rock where Frodo and Sam first crawl on their hands and knees and disappear over the rock and see the gate, was actually shot in a community hall in a very small town called Manapuri. We were in this very remote part of the South Island.
Wait, what?
And you always have what you call weather cover.
Oh, look at that.
Which is you're shooting scenes outside in the forest, but just in case it rains, as it sort of tends to do down there quite a bit, you build a set that you can suddenly rush everybody inside if it's raining and film something else so that you don't lose a day's worth of filming.
Right. So they have emergency sets ready to go.
Where Frodo
just in case.
and Sam and Gollum are kind of up against the rock, about to make that move, that sort of run. There was a moment in the scene where Frodo and Sam get up to make the dash for the gates. I'll ask you to come with me.
And Gollum pulls them back. It was just a hard one for me. I didn't know how he was going to shoot it. It was too piecemeal. I was so fat and tired from all the other work that I just didn't have my head together. For whatever reason, Sean was not in a particularly good headspace on this particular day.
Yeah, there's some sort of odd kind of vibe in the air.
It happens.
I wasn't quite sure what was going on. But all our hackles had kind of risen slightly, and it was like, and go, and they went to go forward, and I jumped on Sean and Elijah and pulled them back, and I just yanked them and Sean just went like that, and I pulled his wig clean off.
My head snaps back, and you could just feel like I was waiting for the rivulets of blood to come pouring down.
Oh my goodness! Dang, he pulled that hard. He literally
intense because Sean got really upset and kind of stormed off.
I go storming off to go get the wig fixed.
But it all happened so quickly, and Andy was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
And I just thought, hey, look, this was a mistake. It was a mistake.
The wig is affixed by glue to your entire head.
And then Andy thought Sean was upset at Andy, so Andy was upset at Sean.
They would twist your hair. Ow, it hurts. That's okay. And
how did he pull the wig off? He didn't pull him by his clothes?
Really arsey with him. And so the rest of the next few takes, it was just like, right, okay.
So they glue your hair back, and then with the twisting, and then with the thing, and then with the glue, and then the thing's on there, and now...
I was also
of course he stormed off.
Andy literally ripped his wig off.
Yeah, that's crazy,
it was the first.
Right?
No one had done that on the film, to my knowledge.
I know you idiots are going to come along and do this behind-the-scenes DVD thing, and it's embarrassing. Frankly, it's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. Why
loved
would you
and
say
respected
that?
one another and got along incredibly well.
Yeah.
But as with anything, tensions can run high, especially only 3 people and the intensity of those moments.
Right.
In fact, it didn't really hurt that much, but what are you gonna do?
I mean, you got your wig torn off. Like, that was a lot, so you're forgiven.
Langholm Forest, what they had done was they built a set and then they'd gone down and got 300 or 400 bags of leaves in black bin liners and poured them out on the set. Ooh, a tree.
We had to have just the most staggering amount of lighting, and that was suspended over the top of the set. And when we finally turned them all on, the heat was so intense that we started to get millions of insects running out of the forest.
After the first day, what was scuttling all over the ground, but hundreds of these wetters.
And a wetter is a native New Zealand bush cricket. And pretty ugly looking, you know, spiny, big mouths, big antennae.
Look at
kind
those
of
legs.
scary. And Pete is pretty squeamish about that.
And the next thing we hear, Pete, oh, hey, you know, kind of, what's that? Wetter.
Right.
And there's a
everywhere
wetter on his leg. And Pete always wears shorts.
The great thing about Pete, in everything that he does, is he's childlike. You know, he's very childlike. So his reaction was to go,
yeah.
We didn't know what was going on, you know. So we're on one side of the set, and you just hear Pete going.
I can see it.
So Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan, you know, spent a great deal of their acting time on the second movie writing the mechanical tree.
A mechanical tree, right.
Just, you know, there's a huge amount of screen time that they have perched up on top of this swaying, rocking, you know, animatronic tree beard.
And the first scene that we filmed actually was climbing up Treebeard and Mary being pulled off by the orc and me kind of, you know, with on Treebeard's nose. So that was the kind of, you know, we were like, this is great.
Yeah. It is great. It looks so good too. And look at the movements.
Then we started doing the scenes and his hands and the branches. And the way they'd set them up was, if you can imagine, that's one of Treebeard's hands. And there was a bicycle seat in here that we could sit on.
The most uncomfortable bicycle seat I think they could find in New Zealand, you know, just something that from a male point of view, just compromise.
That might not be very comfortable.
I'll never
right.
And you were sitting kind of like that for the whole time. So, like, that after a while, you know, for anyone, it's kind of sore on your back and stuff, and you kind of try to hold yourself in. But it also really crushes your, you know, your family jewels, as it were.
Right, okay.
No position
I didn't
that
think
you
about
could
that.
get yourself in that would work.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Poor thing. Look at him. He's trying so hard.
A girl I once knew. Shelley was her name. Terribly rough young lady. But in the actual takes, it was worthwhile because rather than being on a chair and saying, okay, you know, he's lifting you up, you were actually being lifted up. And when you were looking at Treebeard, you were actually looking at Treebeard. His face was there.
Yeah.
Treebeard is my name.
It was a really great puppet, you know. I mean, when they'd go off for a tea break, and because we're strapped into these seats, we just said, well, we'll stay up here and we'll have a chat.
So we would be there with a cup of tea, and everybody else would leave the studio. And it'd just be me, Dom, and this puppet just kind of sitting there. Waiting for other people to come back. Pete
they just leave him in there? Why? It's so uncomfortable.
And you could see his love of the character. You could see that he wanted the Ents to be something really special. Some of it as well was directed by Rick Porras, who was directing a blue screen unit at that time.
The thing about it is this guy doesn't talk back.
So they'd have like a guy on each leg, 2 guys on the arms.
Yeah.
A couple of guys doing the body, a few guys with the remote control doing the face. And then to give the idea of movement, there'd be guys with branches going past to give the kind of shadow. So that, you know, there'd be shadows going past. And it made a lot of noise. It was like, you know, as it was walking through. And then you had Richard Taylor at the side of the studio shouting, left, right, and it's going right, left, and this is what we're doing the scenes against, you know. And then we have to turn and say, you know, so why are there no Entwives left? Left, right. This was kind of, it was such a surreal experience.
I love learning about this process. Yes, indeed. You know, they're just telling us stuff that we would never have known. Like, I would never have even considered that they had to sit on a bicycle seat, you know? I was already... Okay, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and stop the editing for this particular video right here, and we will continue on with part 2 of Cameras in Middle-earth next week. Thank you so much for joining me. So, yes, this video was definitely another winner. I really enjoyed this video. I feel like the camaraderie of the cast and crew is just leaping off the screen. You know, they talked about like the injuries that they endured on set from Aragorn, where he broke his toes and in the middle of filming, and they wound up keeping the clip where he wound up breaking his toe because he was full of so much emotion just from the pain that you know, it really sold the scene. I thought that was interesting. And also with Legolas, I think they said that the stunt double for Gimli, they fell off a horse and the stunt double fell on top of the actor who plays Legolas. I think his name was Orlando, and he wound up breaking his rib, or cracking his rib, which turned out not to be as big of a deal as I would think it would be. I thought he would need more time to heal, but he was right back filming the next day with everyone else. And so, you know, I thought that was interesting. You know, the fact that there were 3 of them that were wounded, but they still had to get these running shots, and they did it. You know, the things that they went through in order to get this movie made, I'm telling you. You know, it's so funny because I hadn't even thought about the fact that there would be inside of the extras, that there would be women dressed up as men for the soldiers, and then also for the people who are riding on the horses. You know, of course, that makes sense. First of all, you hire extras who already own their own horses, and then a lot of women are really good horseback riders. And so you would just hire them as well and just put a beard on them. I thought that was interesting that they included it in that into the video, because that was good. Also, I liked that they included the fact that a few of them got together and camped out, you know, just had a good time. They were like fishing, and, you know, they had the fire going, and they were like drinking and just really celebrating. And they did all of this because they wanted to be there in order to get the shot with the sunrise, which was really magical. You know, I really do appreciate the fact that they include these clips from the cast and the crew, you know, and that they allow it, because they don't have to. But I don't know, it just really adds something. You know, it's a really nice touch to know more about just the actors and how they bonded during this movie making process, you know. So anyway, you guys, I do talk more at the end of the part 2 of the video next week. So I will see you guys then, okay? All right, until next time, let's flow.